Now that we've seen what equilibrium is, we're going to start all of our graphs. In order to show an increase in demand, we need to have a market established. So we have supply and demand crossing at equilibrium. We have our price, we have our quantity, our upward supply, our downward demand, equilibrium quantity, and equilibrium price. Now, anytime there's an increase in demand, remember this is going to be a shift. So we're not talking about a single item. We are talking about something in Piper made overall demand for a product increase. So whether it was preference, income, population, expectations, elasticity, related goods, a substitute or complement, whatever it was that made those people want to buy more of all this product in all of the United States. Remember, this is stage 2, just that one product. Stage 1 is buying 1 can of Pepsi. Stage 2 is all the Pepsi in the U.S. Stage 3 is aggregate demand, which is all goods and services in all of the United States. So let's say our preference for an item increases. And if our preference for an item increases, that's going to mean demand will increase. So demand itself will end up shifting to the right to show that increase. So we have our demand graph right here, our demand curve, labeled as D. We're going to make a new one, so we are increasing to the right. So if we show that we're increasing to the right, we will simply draw a new demand curve and label it as D1. So now, we said nothing about supply changing. That's certs. That's something else. So supply will stay stable, and now where the new demand curve crosses the same amount of supply. So the shelf has the same amount of stuff on it, but now it has more buyers. So where it crosses, we have a new point of equilibrium. So now, by nature, we know when there's the same amount of stuff and more people want it, that's going to drive the price up. So I go from P to P1 with an increase in price, and I go from Q to Q1. So now I go down from this dot. Now I have from Q to Q1. So now I can see I have an increase in price and an increase in the quantity that is demanded. Okay, that's not the quantity that is supplied. Don't get that confused. Now more of it has been demanded, and that drives the price up because we have a set amount of supply. So our price ends up going up, and our quantity ends up going up. Nope, that's not a very good arrow. So now let's take this same idea over to our example, our supply and demand analysis. So on this page right here, we can see medical researchers discover, let me zoom in. Medical researchers discover that eating Lucky Charms makes people cool. Well, our graph is always going to start with supply, demand, price, quantity. I'm sorry, this graph is a little small. I didn't give you a ton of space, but I know it is not a supply question. Okay, I just mark that one out. Now it looks like a graph. Sorry, it's not a supply question. This is preference. Medical research. This story shows there's a preference. So I know demand is going to shift to the right from D to D1. My quantity is going to increase. My price is going to increase. So it's this exact same graph. And these are what we call our results. Okay, our results, or what happened from our new preference of this item, is going to make demand shift to the right. It's going to make prices go up, and our equilibrium quantity demanded is going to increase as well. So now when I solve this one, I know this one is Piper asserts. And I know it's Piper because this is a demand scenario. So in your problem solving, you have to read through these scenarios and pick out which one is the correct one. So that was an increase in demand.